Okay, so here to review my BKCPL, which I just played my final game of the tournament, like about half an hour ago, so I thought why not try and review my games. Oops. So, Fortress versus Snorlax. Double Edge was turn 1. Oh, so, sorry, this is my first game against Agent Keval. Lead Raikou versus Lead Snorlax. Lead Raikou real stall. Lead Snorlax could be anything. I go to Fortress on the Double Edge. Or Earth. Crossbin Earthquake. And okay, so here I completely forget that Snorlax could use Lovely Kiss or a fire move when I was playing this game. It just slipped my mind. So I just stayed in without scouting. Spike up, Golem comes in to spin, which was pretty, from my point of view, was pretty careless because I can now use Toxic easily, and he's not really going to do anything. Rapid spin, pretty, since it's, yeah, Toxic. Earthquake, do a little chip, and then I spike again. Then I go to Starmie on the rapid spin so I can bring Golem out and get some poison chip. I go back to Fortress on the predicted Snorlax, and I spike up again. Spin, and then I spike up again. At this point, I go to Umbreon because I think he's gonna spin again. And I want to pursue it for chip damage. And he reveals Fire Blast, which I also didn't really ever think Golem would run. So, from an outsider's point of view, this looks like a good play, but to me, it was, well, he should have revealed it earlier if he had Fire Blast. He, spin on Fortress and then click Fire Blast, and then he wins the spike. Pretty much wins the Spikes war. Now he doesn't, and so I was like scared out of my mind when I saw it. Like, now I can't leave Fortress in. Then I Pursuit for chip damage. He rapid spins. And here I click Charm in case he explodes. And he goes to Cloyster, which is still fine because Cloyster can also explode. I just stay in. I click Toxic for chip damage. I Pursued it for more chip damage. And he goes to Starmie, which is really confusing because Starmie cannot beat Umbreon. Especially if it's Toxic, which means it's probably going to be Moonlight and it won't ever be asleep. So even Nightmare Starmie won't beat it. So I just click Pursuit, because why wouldn't I? And he switches out, and I get a solid 50% on it, which is amazing for me. He goes to Snorlax, which is also weird, and I click Charm. Well, I guess it was annoying for me because my Umbreon does not have Sleep Talk. So I go to Fortress on the Snorlax, spike up again, and he doubles to Starmie. Here I click Hidden Powered Ghost, because that's a move I had on my Fortress, and I didn't want him doing anything freely. And here I Rapid Spin on the predicted recover, Toxic on the predicted recover, because I figured he would do that, since his Starmie was so low. And I just stay in and spike up, because I know that with a Golem and his Starmie having Substitute and Recover. Last moves are Surf and Nightmare. He goes to Golem. I go to Starmie because I don't want to get Fire Blasted and Rapid Spins. As you can see already, Golem's at 43%. He goes to Zapdos on the Surf. I considered clicking Rapid Spin, but I didn't want my Starmie getting exploded on or anything. Then I go to Raikou on the Thunder, eat it, dodge full para. Here I just click Thunder. I go to Fortress on the Curse. I click Toxic, I miss, which is really bad. I go to Skarmory now, because I don't want it cursing up again. I curse up with my own Skarmory, pretty standard. I Toxic the Snorlax to get it to rest and deal chip damage. The rest, keep healthy. He doubles the Snorlax on the Raikou switch, it's smart. Rests up. Now I can go Starmie and spin. He goes to Tyranitar, which I to pursue my Starmie, and he crits, but I surf him and remove the spikes. And I recover because Pursuit will only do like 30%. And I just stay in and surf, and he goes to Snorlax. Fortress, spike up again. He goes to Cloyster, I go to my Starmie, and I click Psychic so I don't get exploded on. The switch to Golem was very interesting because my Raikou was able to kill it despite the power, and now I just did more spikes and poison chip to it. I rest with Raikou. I don't know why I did that, honestly. But go to Fortress, he goes Zapdos. I go to Raikou. Just admittedly not a great play. Go to Zapdos and the hidden power. Sorry, I go to Snorlax and the hidden power because I don't want my Raikou taking more damage. It's already at 39, and there's spikes up, and there's only one, and there's still a turn left to burn. I double edge this Tyranitar. Go to Umbreon, that's my answer. He roars, and then I stay in and I roll Thunder, which is very ballsy since he could have Earthquake, or just kill me with Rock Slide since I'm at 32. But I predicted the roar correctly since he thought I'd be scared of dying, and I get the chip damage. Then Umbreon comes in, and he just roars again, and I have Starmie in. And here I Rapid Spin, predicting a switch out, since he wants Tyranitar to sack. Toxic. And here I goes, okay. And Golem dies to poison and spikes, which means I basically won. Especially since Cloyster is dead, meaning he can't spike up on me. And there I go to Snorlax instead of Raikou, since it's at 38, and I don't want it dying to crit. And his Zapdos does crit, but my Snorlax. And I eat the next Thunder, don't get parried and full parried, and then I rest. His Tyranitar is almost dead. I have Sleep Talk, and then I get Flamethrower and I burn. And he roars again, and then my Umbreon manages to wake up perfectly on time and charm the Snorlax, and now it lives. And I charm again, I don't get crit, I rest. I Toxic the Snorlax. I Whirlwind in the Starmie. I switch out. Starmie's poisoned and at 63, and it doesn't have Rapid Spin because it's Nightmare. I just go to Raikou and I hit Thunder, and then he switches, and And I get the para, but then my fortress gets slept. So I stay in, and I wake up early, and I explode. I go to Starmie to click Surf. Right, dodge Thunder, and then create and then hit Thunder, and then I win, and he forfeits, and I win game 1, week 1, 5-0. This is versus Fruhdazi, which is, sorry, hold on. This game was against, again, Agent Keval, who's on the Parched Politoeds. Sorry, no, the Ibby Yanmegas. A lot of things wrong. And this game is against Fruhdazi, the manager of the Fruhdazzlers. This was against the Fruhdazzlers, and let's see. Cloyster versus Snorlax. Lead Cloyster is usually Miracle Berry, and it's on more offensive, very offensive teams. Again, lead Snorlax could be anything. I spike up, goes to Zapdos. He does not have Thunder, or at least doesn't want to reveal it yet. And I go to Nidoking on Zapdos, and he goes to Cloyster, expecting Snorlax to come in. And I Thunder, and I crit. Cloyster did not live Thunder, if it hit. It takes like 85 maximum or something, and so by critting Thunder, I don't have to deal with spikes for the rest of the game. That's very important for me because I'm running an offensive team without Golem, as you'll see later. And in week 1, actually, Fruhdazi's Cloyster also got hacked and died. Or, sorry, he didn't get hacked, but he left it in against the Zapdos and predicting hidden power and got Thunderbolted. So the first 2 weeks, his Cloyster dies like on like turn 4 or turn 3, whatever, and he doesn't get spikes up, which is pretty sad. I stay on Zapdos on hidden power, click Ice Beam, and I do have leftovers, meaning I'm not Thief. Go to go to Snorlax. I click Curse. He's Golem. I'm predicting Roar. Sorry, a Rapid Spin, so I click Curse again. Then here on the Roar, I Body Slam trying to get a Paralysis, and I get roared. Tyranitar comes in. I click Earthquake. And then Rock Slide misses, and I get Earthquaked in return. Here I go to Cloyster on the Earthquake. I spike up. Double Edges. And then on predicted Boom, he predicted that I would explode early instead of taking another double edge and click Toxic. Either that, or he predicted I would click Toxic, and actually, yeah, it's pretty reasonable to go Gengar. But I exploded early, try and catch him off guard, and it thuds. Gengar does have leftovers. Then he misses Dynamic Punch, and I click Pursuit. Because I have a Monolax. Then he Dynamic Punches, and he hits. But I hit through Confusion and Earthquake the Gengar, and it kills. Then here, I keep Tyranitar alive. And then I go to Snorlax. And then I Body Slam again, trying to get a Paralysis, and I don't get it. I stay in and try and Paralysis again, and I don't get it. Here I go to Tyranitar to sacrifice because I don't want my Zapdos getting exploded on. I go to Nidoking and try and sleep the Golem, and it goes into Snorlax. Here I go to Machamp because, as you can see by him not clicking Sleep Talk, he probably doesn't have Sleep Talk. And I click Curse because on the predicted switch, because I expect him to go to Zapdos. And I Rock Slide, and he switches to Golem. But in predicted explosion, I go to Nidoking to sacrifice it since it wouldn't do much into Zapdos and Snorlax. And I switch again, and I click Curse. Same as before. He misses Thunder, I Rock Slide, that does 60. Then he hits it, but he does not get the para, and I Rock Slide again, and it dies. Now his Raikou. I go to Zapdos to try and get Paralysis, and because it's kind of useless, and since with Snorlax, and also Raikou, and I missed both of my thunders, which didn't really matter. And he hit all of 3 of his. Go to Snorlax now. Curse. I curse twice, and I body slam. And he explodes, but my Snorlax lives. I get paralyzed and full paralyzed, and Thunder kills from here, but it misses. And from here, I just win. Because I'm Sleep Talk. And then I kill his rank. And I win week 2. 2-0. This is a game against Ombrarch, who's on the Edgy's Ice Cream Dogs. Before the game, Dance of Hearts, he told me Ombrarch is an offense loader. He loads offense a lot in. By a lot, I mean every game that Dance of Hearts has seen Ombrarch play, he loaded offense. And so, this game I brought Paralysis spam with Marowak, Exeggutor, and Tyranitar, because it's decent into offensive teams. And Marowak can kind of bully defensive teams, but I made some move choices that were not wise because I was fishing offense. Meaning, Marowak without Fire Blast, and a Tyranitar that did not, but I still wanted a cover stall, in quotes, meaning my Tyranitar had Fire Blast instead of Earthquake for Gengar, and my Exeggutor had a Giga Drain instead of Hidden Power Fire, meaning it was sucked into Skarmory. Exeggutor lead, and I switched because I don't want to get and I don't want my get double edged or whatever, or cursed on. And I predicted he would have Sleep Talk Snorlax, so it's safe. And then he goes to Zapdos, and I go to Cloyster, and that's really bad for me. I go to Snorlax on the Thunder, and I double to Exeggutor on the Cloyster, and I click Stun Spore. He switches. Then for some reason I go to Marowak instead of Snorlax, which is not wise, to say the least. Here I click Earthquake on the switch, because I don't think he'll stay in with a paralyzed Zapdos. And Rock Slide 2 goes and can flinch plus full para, and Earthquake hits a lot. I don't want him going to anything like a Starmie or Vaporeon for free, because Earthquake does like 50 plus. Go to Zapdos on the Spike. I go to Cloyster on the predicted Snorlax, but he reveals Dual Electric, which is close to unwinnable for me. And he has Thunderbolt Raikou, which is good for me, I'd say. And I rest, and he reveals his own Snorlax. Curses. I spike first instead of clicking Toxic. And then, next turn, I miss Toxic, which is horrendous, to say the least. And I Toxic, he goes to Skarmory on the predicted Explosion. Save HP and probably try to dodge and not get crit, in case crit. He misses Toxic, that's not that important, because it's Zapdos, Zapdos has rest, and Sleep Talk. He goes to Raikou, pretty fair. I Thunder and I miss, meaning I can't paralyze, and I stay in Thunder. He roars because he went second. Cloyster, I cannot stay in because he was Thunderbolt, and even if he clicked move, and then he wouldn't miss. Thunderbolt, he wouldn't miss. Then because I go to Snorlax, I can eat the hits, but Thunderbolt crits. Now I'm in a really bad spot. And I Sleep Talk, Body Slam, and just like game 2, no pair on Golem. Switched Exeggutor, and I doubled a Zapdos on his own Zapdos, or Sleep Talk Snorlax, since or Sleep Talk Skarmory because his Raikou is Roar, meaning it doesn't have Sleep Talk. And I Thunder into his Zapdos, but he just rests it off. And I Thundered Raikou, no, and I get the Para. And I Thunder again, force him to rest, and in case he clicks an attacking move, and he just rests immediately. You go to Marowak, because he does not Sleep Talk, can't Sleep Talk. And then he goes to Skarmory, which... he goes to Skarmory, and on the Earthquake, which is bad, because now my Marowak has to switch out, and it's taken an extra layer of spikes. Goes to Zapdos and Toxic, pretty standard. I go to Marowak on the Raikou, and I Swords Dance on the switch. I stand, he Toxics, I Rock Slide, 50%. Big damage. Goes to Golem to take the Rock Slide, and then an Earthquake or Explode. And I stay in and predict him to double back to Skarmory on the Earthquake, because we speed tie. And I miss. Which is really unfortunate, because it wouldn't have killed, but it means that if I can force... I go to Zapdos, he goes to Raikou or whatever, stuff happens, and then I bring in Exeggutor, and now he either has to let one of his electrics die to Explosion, or his Skarmory die. Well, Skarmory, so you can't bring in Skarmory, and then Snorlax can potentially kill it. And then something, and from here I basically just can't win. Tyranitar in the back, and yeah. Skarmory healthy, Tyranitar not having Earthquake for Golem. Yeah, and I just lose. That's week 3. I'm 2-1 now. This is versus Kenny, who is on the Parched Politoeds. My team at this point is 1 win, 1 loss. No, 1 win and 2 losses. 1 against the Fruhdazzlers, lost against the other 2 teams. Zapdos versus Zapdos. Thunder misses both sides. He misses Thunder, and then I crit Thunder, and I hidden power Ice, because I don't want to miss, and he goes to Golem for some reason, and takes good chip. I go to Cloyster, because, you know, it covers Earthquake and Boom, and heals the Snorlax, and I click Surf, because I don't want Zapdos coming in and resting off. He stays in double edges. Here I Surf again for the same reason. He goes to his Cloyster. I spike up. He spikes up. I go to Zapdos on the predicted Toxic, and he Surfs. I Thunder again, because I don't want Lax coming for free. He goes to Golem. In power, he doubles to Snorlax. So he took 6% on his Golem, in exchange for taking less on his Snorlax, assuming Thunder hit. I Thunder Snorlax, I get the Para, he double edges. I switch to my own Snorlax on the rest, so I can curse up. He goes to Golem, I curse. I have Earthquake, I click it, and I crit Cloyster. Predicting Explosion, so I go to Tyranitar, and he get the read right, but unfortunately I got a critical hit. My Tyranitar is dead, so Cloyster still got a KO in the end, which is really unfortunate. He goes to Gengar. I stay in with Zapdos and Thunder, but I miss, and I am dead to Ice Punch now, and my Tyranitar is dead. He Thieves on the switch, which is a good play by him, and I click Curse. Because I don't want, because Earthquake does not kill Gengar, and I don't want to explode it on and die. He rests here for some reason, and then he's at 67 with +1 double edge. Double edge hits Golem, and it critical hits, meaning it can't meaning it dies now, whereas otherwise it would have lived and gotten to explode or rapid spin. So it's kind of even. My Tyranitar died to Cloyster, and their Golem died to my Snorlax. Now I have to keep my spikes up. Goes to Jinx, which I have to run from, because I don't want my Snorlax getting slept since I don't have Sleep Talk. So I go to Zapdos, and I absorb sleep, and I predict Psychic because my Cloyster is healthy enough to live a Psychic after taking Ice Beam and Spikes. And so I go to Steelix to click Earthquake, or Roar, sorry, on the predicted Zapdos switch. I go to Cloyster here to take Ice Beam and explode, and then I predict him, he doesn't want to stay in with Zapdos, because that could mean him not getting the, like, 1/3 times 70% chance to kill Cloyster, and he doesn't want Zapdos dying to Explosion. So I Surf, and I hit the Gengar, and Gengar would also absorb Explosion. So I go to Snorlax here, because it can kill it with Earthquake, and I rest. I Curse Up. I just kill Zapdos, and I Earthquake the Gengar. I'm sorry, I switch out to absorb Boom. I don't know why I did that. Go to Steelix, I click Curse, he reveals Flamethrower, which is really unfortunate for me. Go to Cloyster, I Surf on Gengar, I Surf again, and I don't get it right, but then I win, and then my Cloyster dies, but then I win the speed tie, Steelix versus Snorlax, and I explode on the Snorlax. And I go to my own Snorlax, I take Boom, I have a Vaporeon in the back, and the Zapdos and Snorlax are dead. And I just spam Surf, I don't get frozen, and I win. 3-1 for me now. My team tied against the Politoeds. Gogoats versus the Gogoats now, versus keeping it Icy. Very good player. And this time we're doing a best of 3. Game 1. My personal record is again 3-1. I sleep his Snorlax because no bullshit. If he has Sleep Talk, he has Sleep Talk. And I Thief it. And he does not have Sleep Talk. And I go to Cloyster on the predicted. I don't know why I went there. But I did. And so I go to Cloyster. I don't know why. He goes to Raikou. Cloyster because it spikes up on Snorlax. And he goes to Raikou. And I switch out of Raikou. And I go to Snorlax to take Raikou. And he doubles to Cloyster. Very good play. And I go to my own Cloyster to spike up. And he has spikes up now. And I get poisoned. I miss Toxic again. And he clamps. I Toxic. Clamps again, and then I Surf, and he goes to Gengar on, expect me to explode on his Cloyster. I go to Jinx, decent guard check, and then I just click Psychic. I go to Gengar on Predict Direction, he Surfs. And I expect him to not have Psychic. And I Thunderbolt. And it goes to Raikou. And I switch out because Thunder kills from there, I'm pretty sure. And I eat Hidden Power Water, but I predict him to stay and get Chip on Golem, and I Earthquake Raikou, and now Zapdos I have in the back is going to go crazy. My Golem's dead to Spikes now, so I just stay in and let it die. my Zapdos in. It's very scary. Thunder hits. Thunder misses, but it's fine. I go to Cloister. I surf on Gengar. He has Destiny Ball on Gengar, which is fine for me. My own Gengar dies, but that's cool. Zapdos comes in, hits Sub, and then it hits Skarmory. It hits Snorlax and crits. Now Snorlax is dead. I hit Thunder, and I hit Thunder. Zapdos went crazy. Game 2. Here I loaded Edgar Golem because Ithi has been... in his scout, he loaded a lot of rock types and some Steelix too. Rock types, you know, Golem, Tyranitar, Rhydon, and also Steelix. And Gengar and Exeggutor put a lot of pressure on those Pokemon. Spikes up. And so, he has Jinx, so I'm expecting standard Jinx Gar +1, and I have Sleep Talk, so I just click Double Edge, expecting him to Thief. And I do a lot, and he misses Lovely Kiss. And I do it again, Double Edge again, just in case it misses, and he hits, so he Thieves. I go to Gengar because it takes Thief, and I don't need Leftovers too badly, and it kills Jinx from there with Thunderbolt. So he goes into Exeggutor. I go to my own Exeggutor because I'm not expecting him to Sleep Powder when he has a Jinx and my Snorlax is already absorbed asleep. So I Sleep Powder here. And then when I see Moltres, I immediately knew that he loaded the triple fire sample team, meaning his Exeggutor does not have Stun Spore or Sleep Powder, but can power fire. And his other Pokemon are Snorlax, Houndoom, and Entei. So I go to my own Zapdos, and I Whirlwind, because I have Whirlwind, and it reveals this other Pokemon just in case. Then I Thunder, it hits. Entei takes 52, but it clicks Sunny Day. I switch out. I go to Golem to take Fire Blast, but I know he has Solar Beam, so I switch out to Snorlax. I know he's in Power Fire though, and it's under Sun, because, you know, hidden Power Fire, because that's on the sample team, and under Sun it'll do like 60 plus Exeggutor. And he switches to Houndoom, expecting a Sleep Powder. Sorry, no, not Sleep Powder. Whatever. And I explode, and Houndoom's dead. I go to Zapdos on expected Moltres Egg. No, anything but Snorlax Zapdos can take. And here I Toxic on Switch, he hits Entei. I Surf, he Sunny Days, so it doesn't take that much. And I go to Snorlax because Snorlax can take Entei's hits. And my Snorlax is Sleep Talk, by the way. I kill Entei. But Moltres is still left, and from here it can kill everything. And he gets the 1 in 3 roll and the 85% chance to hit. And my Zapdos takes 86. Then Thunder misses, and my Zapdos doesn't have Rest because it's a Whirlwind set. And I go to Cloister on the Snorlax, and here I switch out to my own Snorlax. And he high rolls Psychic. My Snorlax dies, and I can't get to Rest. I go in, I explode on Jinx. I ate a Drill Peck. I Parallax, but my Zapdos dies. I go to Golem. I go to Gengar and Exeggutor. Try and crit or freeze. I don't get it. And because it didn't explode on Exeggutor, since if I did, I would have lost probably. And I just lose. Yeah, I would have lost. My Snorlax dead. Alright, so my record. So that's game 2. So we fished with Sunny Spam, and he got it. Game 3. Monolax versus Curselax versus Curselax Ditto. I did not go to Cloister, instead stayed in to cover a lovely kiss. And he just curses. And by not going to Cloister, I misplayed. And we end up in a Curselax versus Curselax Ditto. If I lose, I can't do anything. Because my team is Machamp, who can win with crit, that's it. Tyranitar, which has Screech, not Roar, and I don't have anything else I can take. Snorlax. And Body Slam, which means I'm not favored. And I get crit by Double Edge, and I just lose. And I get 6-0'd. And my record's now 3-2. Melancholy. Played him a lot on ladder. And I'm loading team with Snorlax, Cloyster, Zapdos, Jolteon, Marowak, and Tyranitar. So I played a couple of games before this with the team versus Society and Beware of Coco. And against both of them, what I did was I let my Zapdos die. I went to Jolteon, I clicked Agility, and then I baton passed to Marowak, and I swept from there. After I clicked Swords Dance. That's the printer. Sorry. Right, back now. Okay. Snorlax versus Snorlax again, could be anything. Goes to Tyranitar, I click Curse. Double Edge, he roars. Go to Fortress. I switch out of Fortress into my own Tyranitar because I don't want to get Fire Blasted. And he roars again and brings my Snorlax back in. He Rock Slides, flinches. Sorry, no, doesn't flinch. Double Edge for a little bit of chip. I go to my own Tyranitar. And I Rock Slide, and he switches to Starmie, takes 35, I switch out because I don't want to get served. Go to Zapdos. Then he brings in Raikou, and my chances were not looking good at this point. By the way, this is versus the Undrafted Urshifus. My team has 1 win, 2 losses, and 2 ties. Thunder, Raikou, do not get a para. I stay in and try to get the para again. He misses Thunder, I crit Thunder. I stay in again, try and force it to rest. And maybe get para. I do get para. But I don't get full para. I go to Snorlax to be safe, and I curse, and I double edge, and he roars again. I bring in my own Zapdos. Switch X, I don't get rock slided, and clicks Curse, because at that point I realize I'm fucked. Because my team cannot beat Curse Tyranitar. Curse vs Tyranitar. Toxic? I miss again. Almost every game I've missed a Toxic when I needed to hit it. My Fortress dies. I miss Thunder. I go to Zapdos because I realize that with Raikou and Snorlax fully healthy on his side, my Zapdos won't be very useful. I try and hit Thunder for chip. I miss. So here I click Roar. Sorry, no, I Rock Slide. I think I'd Screech maybe. and it misses Starmie, meaning I'm not threatening to kill it. And my Spiker's also dead now, and I don't have spikes on their side. So at this point, I could Rock Slide again. He rests. I go to Marowak and I Sword Stance up. And I Rock Slide. And here I need to flinch. I do not have Fire Blast on this. And I don't get the flinch. And here I go to Jolteon. I Agility. Ton Pass out to my own Snorlax. And he gets the Roar. So I did a lot of damage, but it didn't work out. Go to Jolteon. And because my Marowak can't take 2-drop wedges at this point. I get it paired. Yeah, at this point I just can't win without luck. And I get sweat, and then in the end I lose. So remember, my personal record's now 3-3. And my team lost this week really badly to the Urshifus. Now we're 1 win, 3 losses, and 2 ties. So here's the scenario now. Versus the Buzzwoles, record is 2. This is the game I played like about an hour ago. Right now. Like an hour or 2 hours ago. And versus the Buzzwoles, this is final week, week 7 of the regular season. Record is 2-1 in our favor. To make playoffs, we need at minimum 8-2 against the Buzzwoles. Ideally 9-1. And that's what it's looking like. And then other stuff needs to happen, but that's the main. That's really all that's relevant to this video right now. Raikou lead versus Jinx lead. Stall versus offense. Thunder misses. First of many. Go to Skarmory, because at this point it's kind of obvious I'm already using Stall with Coup lead. And I go to Raikou to scout fire moves or Thunder. And also, if he clicks Lovely Kiss, I hide my Skarmory having Sleep Talk, because it does. I hit Thunder, do not get and I do not get the para. Very important, because he reveals Thunder Wave, meaning he does not have rest, and any paralysis will permanently cripple Zapdos. And he goes Snorlax, I hit Thunder, do not get the para again. I go out to Cloyster on a Snorlax. Since he would have stayed in against Skarmory if he had a Thunder or a Fire move, I imagine. And I go to Cloyster. He goes to Jinx. On the Skarmory, I imagine. And so I have to switch out because I don't want my Cloyster getting slept, and I go to Suicune. And he clicks Psychic. I do not know if he's Thief or not. And he is, but I didn't know because he didn't take any damage, so I couldn't use leftovers. And I just click Surf. I Surf again, because I've Sleep Talk on this Suicune, and I go to Cloyster, spike up. My Suicune doesn't have leftovers, meaning it cannot take Snorlax. Here I Toxic for tip damage, and because I have a Rapid Spinner of my own, and he might not. He reveals Hidden Power Electric, meaning this is a very offensive team, especially with non-rest Zapdos and a Thief Jinx. By this point, I know it's either Jinx Scar Nidoking or maybe Jinx Scar Golem, but probably Jinx Scar Nidoking. So I switch out because I want to take that and go to Raikou, and I don't want to, at this point, Raikou's paralyzed, and I don't want it exploding on, so I switch to Skarmory, because I don't want my real Golem and potentially get surfed. I go to Golem on the Predictive Thunder, and he clicks Thief, and at this point I know it's definitely Jinx Nido, Gar, Triple Thief, plus Whirlwind's Zapdos, the sample team, but with Power Electric Cloyster, which the original does not have, and Thunderwave Zapdos, which the original doesn't have, but it still has Whirlwind. And here I want Spikes off, so I click Rapid Spin instead of clicking Earthquake or Explosion. My Golem does not have leftovers either because it got stolen, so my Golem is permanently at 29 or lower. Here at this point, I switch to Snorlax because it's my best Pokemon to handle Nidoking with Suicune, 70% and no leftovers. And here I click Curse. Instead of double edging, which I didn't think would kill, but it would have. Because the calculator I was not using did not take into account poison or spikes. And see later, me not double edging the Cloyster first before cursing kind of cost me the game later on, but we'll see. But it's a bit of a spoil or whatever. So I curse again because I'm predicting him to spike up, and I want to take less from Boom. And I get frozen by Ice Beam. Ice Beam Cloyster is not very common. And on the first Ice Beam, he got the freeze. My only Pokemon in GC, freeze lasts for like either 9 turns maximum or infinite. And there's a 10% chance to thaw. And if you thaw, it's at the end of the turn, meaning you can't thaw and move on the same turn. My only Pokemon that can handle Nidoking consistently is my Snorlax. Because it still has its leftovers, it has Curse, and it has Rest. And here so to sum it up, I'm kind of can't win without some of my own favorable RNG. My Snorlax does not thaw. He switches out for some reason. Goes to Zapdos to click Whirlwind. And he does, and Skarmory gets dragged in. I switch out because I don't want my Skarmory being killed. With his mono Snorlax still alive. My Golem at like 29 with spikes up. And so here I click Thunder, and I get full paired. Even if I didn't, it wouldn't matter, but it would still piss me off because he didn't know if I clicked Thunder. He could have clicked Hidden Power Ice. And you'll see this is going to happen a lot more. Go to Cloyster to sacrifice it. Because I don't want to go to anything else right now. And my Cloyster dies, but it's fine. Mostly. Explosion would be nice, but his last Pokemon is Gengar. And also, meaning he doesn't have a spinner and he can absorb Explosion. So go to Suicune here. I click Surf instead of Ice Beaming because I didn't want to let Jinx in, and it would do a little more to Snorlax. Those Zapdos, I stay in predicting a Whirlwind, and I get Thunderbolted. What about my own Raikou? Click Thunder again, but he doesn't know that, and I get full paired again. Or did I rest? There, I don't remember. Go to Snorlax because it's the only thing I can handle Nidoking. And here it goes to Cloyster. I do not thaw. I don't want to get cursed up. Sorry, no. I stay in, try and thaw, and I do not. I go to Skarmory, because who knows, I can switch Snorlax in on a double, or get it Whirlwinded in, and thaw maybe. Like double. I do not thaw. I go to Raikou. I get Raikou in. I hit Power Water finally. I just go to Skarmory on the Earthquake. He misses Thunder, which is excellent, and I crit Drill Peck, which is also excellent. And I just stay in, and I Drill Peck again, because my Skarmory can take a Thunder from Nidoking. I go to Raikou. And instead of being able to rest, his Nidoking dies to spikes. which was both a good and bad for me, because I would have sacrificed Snorlax there, gone in Skarmory, click Drill Peck, and my Raikou can be full health. Instead, my Raikou's at 48 and paralyzed, with spikes up against Whirlwind Zapdos. I go to Golem, and he goes to Zapdos, which is an excellent play by him, unfortunately for me. And I just say in because I don't want to get Whirlwinded, or I don't want my Raikou to take any extra chip, and I don't get spikes off, and I go to Raikou, I finally rest, but he Whirlwinds, and I sacrifice Snorlax. And from here, it's what I have to do is I have to get every turn right and good RNG. Because he has Whirlwind Zapdos against a Skarmory and a Raikou with spikes up. And so here I do manage to kill Jinx because my Thunder finally hits something other than Snorlax. Zapdos one didn't really matter because it healed it off by now and didn't get parried. And I have Entire Water, so I don't have to risk a miss. He's Gengar. So I go to Skarmory because if my Raikou gets exploded on, I lose. But he clicks Thief, which is awful for me. Well, no, awful because it means he didn't explode. And then I get Thunderbolted and paralyzed. I go to Raikou on the Ice Punch. Oh, sorry, because I don't want to get Thunderbolt. On the particular Thunderbolt, he Ice Punches. Because mid-ground. Anyways, go back to Skarmory because I don't want to explode it. Because my Raikou gets exploded on, I lose. And his Snorlax is in range of Thunder. And from here, his Snorlax has a chance to die, but my Raikou sucks ass. And did not hit and rolled rest. If it hit Hidden Power Water, or Thunder and then hit, Snorlax dies. Instead, I don't. Here, I just have to keep making the right play. I go to Raikou, I Thunder, it hits, and he Ice Punches, predicting mid-ground between that and that. And I realize, and I make the read, and Thunder hits, and then I hear Hidden Power kills. Now, the rest of the game, I have to get every turn right, and my Raikou has to get Sleep Talk rolls. And what happens is, that mostly happens, but the issue is, my Raikou misses pretty much every Thunder, and it don't get a single Thunder para, like, throughout the entire game, except I think one on Snorlax, which didn't matter, because it rested it off. And so what happens is, I get a turn wrong, trying to stall another Whirlwind, and I lose. And now, right now as I'm recording this, my team is 2-2, so yeah, again, very recent, and my personal record is 3-4. This was against the Big Booty Buzzwoles, who are also competing for playoffs. And so I finished with a negative record. I did not win against a single good player. No offense to any of the players I beat. And I lost this game to hacks. Because my Snorlax, if it didn't get frozen, would have almost surely won the game by itself. Because it can curse up to dodge explosion kills and then rest him off. Instead, it got frozen and I lost. So, yeah. Really salty about this game still. Personal record is 3-4. Team right now is 1 win, 3 losses, 2 ties. And our only hope of making playoffs is to go 6-0 the rest of the week. The Dogs to win against the Gogoats. The Fruhdazzlers to blow out the Urshifus. And for the Yanmegas to win against Yanmegas to win against the Politoeds, and that probably won't happen, which means I'm not going to be, which means this tour is basically over for my team, likely over for my team, the Cult of Toxtricity. So, GG's. Have a nice day.